So, what made you guys enter the next great podcast?
Well, during quarantine, we would go on weekly walks to make sure that the other person went outside, and we would talk on the phone for an hour or two. And at some point, Sienna made a movie reference that I did not understand, and Sienna could not explain.
No, I did not know what movie it was from. And that was the moment where we realized neither of us knew movies, nor did we want to see a lot of the great ones. And it was the first time we were able to admit to anybody in this moment. I remember it, walking past the park.
Yes.
But why?
It was the first time.
What were you afraid of?
Well, we both took, screenwriting and other sort of film adjacent classes in college. And now we both work in entertainment or entertainment adjacent in Los Angeles. And anytime somebody brings up a classic film, we say we haven't seen it. They go, "You haven't seen this? It's a classic."
It's that shame that comes along with not knowing great cinema, things you were supposed to see. For some reason, that's just part of our society, that we're all supposed to have seen these movies at some point.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened. I just kind of forgot to.
But what was the movie where you felt like, I'm inferior to mankind because I haven't seen this movie?
I think for me, it was Casablanca. Everybody had said, "Oh my gosh, that's such a good movie. That's such a classic." But then I went and I saw it in a movie theater during one summer in college. And I was like, this is bad.
What is everyone talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not having a good time.
Okay. What's the movie that you didn't think you would like that you did?
That's a great question. There have been a few of those. One of them, for example, was Lawrence of Arabia, which very, very long film.
So long.
Like many of the top films are. But it was so beautiful.
What did you think of his blue eyes?
Okay, thank you. That is what I said. Sienna did not notice them.
What?
I was more focused on his nostrils.
So Sienna loved that movie because it was visually beautiful. I loved it because it was about World War I, and I love studying the First World War.
Well, you do have a thing for nostrils, so I do understand that. When you meet somebody and you say, what are the characteristics you really like? He's got great nostrils.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime she tells me about a boy, she goes nostril first.
They were flaring.
But the eyes, the eyes are so blue, not that they didn't doctor him up, but I didn't listen to the dialogue. I couldn't help but notice. I got lost in his blue eyes.
We got lost in the eyes and the camels.
Ooh.
Oh, yes. Like the camels and the dunes.
We missed most of the movie.
And so you've had some that you go, what am I doing watching this? Or what is it that makes it so great? Have you come across an actor or an actress where you go, oh my God, like they jump off the screen?
Yes. Oh no, what was her name? The woman in Sunset Boulevard who's like, what do you want?
Is that Gloria Swanson?
That's so possible, Dan, and that we should know.
I haven't seen the movie in 30 years. You guys just watched it less than 30 days ago.
And we have already recorded our episode on it, and I did say her name during it, and I don't remember.
Okay.
But I love her.
And we're so sorry, but fortunately, this is sort of the point of our podcast, is that we're coming in here with no knowledge and leaving with, honestly, sometimes less knowledge.
But okay, what do you want the audience to take away from your podcast?
This is a great question. We have a couple theories about this. One of them is that we want people to be able to know if this is something that is worth watching for them, if they have similar viewing experiences as ourselves. For anybody who's not a cinephile themselves, but is interested in these films, maybe this will give them a taste of what things might be worth watching for them, what they might get something out of, and which ones they might skip.
And our other thought is we want to provide a safe space for people who also are not enjoying these films to know that they are not alone in that opinion.
But do you say, hey, tune in, we're going to talk about Raging Bull. We don't get it, or we don't like it, or...
Yeah. So another point of starting this podcast was we were like, okay, we've heard from everybody that these are the classics. Fine. We're going to meet you halfway and actually watch them and see what they're about. So we try to go in with an open mind. I will say Raging Bull was a tough one because the poster is like a man getting punched in the face. And I was like, that's not going to be for me. But we try to
Wait.
be very
You
open.
you didn't love Raging Bull.
Dan, can you believe it? Two young women, one of whom gets nauseous pretty easily, didn't enjoy Raging Bull.
Yes, I did not like that movie. Do you like that movie, Dan?
I do. I think that's a pretty the way it's shot, it's black and white and it just there's something about black and white, whether it's photos or movies, that just it almost gives you more depth. It gives you more of a personality of it. And I thought De Niro was really great in that.
But surely, Dan, the domestic abuse and the misogyny were upsetting to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot of movies where there's bad things that happen, but this is based on a real story. I actually met Jake LaMotta and met his wife, Vicky.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And De Niro looked just like Jake LaMotta.
Mm,
and
wow.
so I'm just looking at the acting part of this and how Scorsese shot it. Not
Right.
necessarily, what's going on or what the storylines are. I mean, if we did that, we would be probably removing quite a few movies from, the top 100. Do you have
And
a
that has
guilty
been
pleasure, like a guilty pleasure movie?
Yes.
Maybe not part of the top 100, where you
Not
go,
yet.
I'm afraid to admit this publicly, but I love this.
Oh.
What is our guilty pleasure movie?
Yeah.
Mine has been actually very publicly admitted.
Okay.
But it's 1917, the World War I film starring George Mackay and a bunch of other boys. It is. And wow, it's perfect cinema. I have no notes. There's a huge poster of it in my living room. But again, that's a lot of the World War I of it all. And the fact that my type when it comes to men is tall and haunted.
Well, the way it's shot too is
Yes.
really wonderful,
Mhm.
and puts you in that moment. So I didn't watch it for the same reason you did, but I can understand that. I
Thank you.
Yes,
And that's also the beauty of our podcast and just viewing movies in this world that we're trying to give a voice to, is that we all watch it for different reasons.
Mhm.
And that's okay. And maybe the reasons we watch it for aren't the reasons why it would get on an AFI list, but we think they're still valid. I myself, my guilty pleasure movie would be something like Hot Rod, which is a very dumb movie that entertains me every time. And I wouldn't want to admit it to most people. I wouldn't call it like a feminist battle cry either, but I don't think it's
No.
really a battle cry of anything.
Who's in Hot Rod?
That is
Is it Andy Samberg?
Andy Samberg.
Oh,
Yeah. And the Lonely Island guys.
Mm.
It's very dumb. It's about a guy who wants to punch his stepdad.
Okay.
Not Raging Bull in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind
But-
of similar.
Okay. That I can't imagine the elevator pitch where you go in and say, "Okay, here's the movie. I want to punch my stepdad."
And that's what makes it so genius.
Who would you like to have on? Like, who would
That's
be,
incredible.
great guest?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question.
For me, it's again going to be George Mackay, simply because any way I can meet him,
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Gosh, I would be so honored to have anybody join in on our games. our
Okay,
reindeer
but
games.
would you want to have De Niro on and then
No.
no.
I'm so sorry. That was an incredibly quick no from me, which I just learned now is my opinion. I think what actually would be fun for me would be to have like young non-men filmmakers come on and give their takes on these movies as well, because I think it's really exciting what movies these days are doing, and they're very, very different from a lot of these classics on this list. And I think that could be a fun and interesting conversation to get perspectives of the people who are different from the people who made and starred in a lot of these movies.
Give me a movie today or recently that you think could end up in the top 100.
Mamma Mia. And it's fun for the whole family. It's an incredible film.
Yeah, that's the storylines are really incredible, and wow, there's some acting going on in there. I mean,
Mhm.
you have Meryl, but even then, I think Meryl Streep had to look at the script and go, "This is going to be some of the toughest acting of my life."
Yeah. But was she looking at the script or was she looking at the score by ABBA?
I think she was looking at the scenery.
Yes.
I think she was like, hey, Pierce Brosnan, how about we go to the Greek Isles and we do a movie? Sure.
right.
Sounds great. Because that's what it felt like.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you have one, though, like a true great movie do you think that will, kind of withstand the test of time in the last 5, 10, 15 years?
One that I've seen that really, I'm afraid to say 1917 because I know it's your thing.
No,
But I
you
really
can't
liked that
take
film.
hers. You can't take hers.
Okay.
What about I thought Booksmart was very, very fun and good. And that was sort of the like women reclaiming of Superbad. Was that the movie that it
Yeah.
was compared to?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw that one as someone who was a nerd in high school and did not party, and then got into a good school, but found out all my friends who partied also got into good schools. It really was like reading my journal.
I liked it. I thought it had, the premise was, I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it lived up to what it could have been because it started and then I just thought it sort of flattened out there. But I did like both of those characters.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what's interesting about these movies too, is that one resonated with me so much because that was an experience that I had had. And I think, we have these conversations about representation mattering. And a lot of the movies on this list are told from the white male perspective about a lot of white men. And it makes sense that they've been praised forever because most of the people praising them who've been the people in power have been white men. And so that's, I think, another reason that we are diving into this, and also why our list would look very different. But I think everybody's would.
And wasn't Olivia Wilde the director of
Yes,
that
she
movie? Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a movie.
Okay.
I have the one that would be on the list.
Here we go.
What We Do in the Shadows, the
Okay.
vampire mockumentary.
Thought it was brilliant.
I
That
think
one's
it's-
very fun.
And he's crazy talented.
Yeah.
yeah, he's extremely talented.
But also he's acting and just the whole premise there, and then some of the lines that are delivered, and that's one of those where here's the premise. Can you have that last for an entire movie? And they did. So I thought that was great. Did you guys watch Slumdog Millionaire?
No.
I did.
Okay. And
That was a great movie.
I
okay.
heard that one was violent. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I stayed away.
That is a great movie.
It's sort of violent, I
You
think.
have to know that my tolerance level for violence
Yeah.
is almost negative.
Yeah.
This
But-
is from the woman who muted The Godfather.
I did most of it.
Do you know I've never watched The Godfather?
That's the right choice.
All the way through. I've never watched it all the way through. It's
What parts have you seen?
where Brando gets knocked off.
You
Um,
just wanted those oranges.
it just or maybe he did live. I don't know, but he gets shot, and I don't know. I just my wife's Italian, so we don't really talk about organized crime or the mafia.
Yeah, smart.
That's
all.
always choice.
I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
watch The Sopranos.
Sure.
Wow. And Dan, do you ever feel embarrassed for not having seen The Godfather? Do people make you feel ashamed?
No.
Hmm.
And therein lies the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Between ours.
might, but I don't care. It's like, okay, I never saw Star Trek. I saw the first Star Wars probably 25 years after it came out.
Same.
I just had no interest in those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have something to bring up at dinner with people where you're like, somebody's talking in a foreign language and you're just sitting there. I just go, all right, they'll be done soon. And
I think where it hits us is the fact that we're entering the industry now and we're trying to, make headway in the field. And also there's still a fair bit of sexism and a fair bit of like assumptions that if you don't know what you're talking about, or that if you are a woman, you don't know what you're talking about. And so we will get that energy of like, oh, you haven't seen this? That's like embarrassing for you.
You probably want me to explain the whole thing, don't you?
yeah.
Like, oh, no.
I feel like Dan, I don't care. I don't
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to have seen it.
And I'm in a different position, being a male and also being older, where I can just I don't care.
Mhm.
Where you might feel like, oh, I have to have wide-eyed wonderment of like, tell me more about this and why I should watch this. I was just like, I don't have time for that stuff.
Yes.
I love
And
that energy.
We hope that with this podcast, we can leave and help other people leave it.
Yeah,
feeling
with
that
the
they
strength.
don't need to care either.
With the strength of Dan Patrick.
Are you guys?
They can approach every film, bro.
So, are you taking improv lessons?
We actually met on our college improv team and became fast friends. We were doing improv in LA before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now it has sort of passed away for the time being.
But we still do improv every day
Every
together.
day.
How much
Every
does it
conversation.
help being best friends, though, or good friends when you're doing this?
It helps a lot. That is also why when I heard the ad for the Next Great Podcast competition, we just the previous week had that first conversation about how we don't really love classic films. And it came about just from being two besties.
Mhm.
And we figured, oh my God, we have such a good time talking to each other about anything. We could talk for hours on any topic. And how fun would it be to sit down and actually record those conversations and invite other people into them?
Have you gotten upset with one another on the podcast?
Oh my gosh, all the time. Which is one of the reasons it also helps to be such good friends,
Yes.
because we are used to disagreeing. We're kind of opposites in a lot of ways, but we make each other laugh so much.
Yeah.
And we know there's love there at the end of the day. So yes, we have different things that we like or dislike about these movies.
Mm-hmm.
And like Liana doesn't care as much about film production as I do. So I'll be saying, oh my gosh, these special effects are so good for the 60s. And Liana doesn't care at all.
All right.
How
She's
much?
like, whatever.
How much money did you spend on the backdrop for today?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean
This
that's
was a gorgeous, I believe it was a Bed Bath & Beyond purchase
okay.
for arguably $24.99.
I like
And then
it.
as you can see, it's really stunningly adhered to the wall with painter's tape.
Tape
like
was
it.
about $1.
I like
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, minimalist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What movies do you have coming up?
Coming up, we've got Star Wars. We've got Psycho. We've got, I think it's Sunset Boulevard after
Yes.
that.
Great movie.
2001 A Space Odyssey, absolute fever dream.
Wait, have you already seen these movies? You've already reviewed them?
These ones we've seen and reviewed. Other ones later, we've got The General from the 1920s. We don't know anything about that one.
I don't know.
Um, On the Waterfront from
Oh yeah.
the 30s.
That's
Then
Brando. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
yeah, that's pretty impressive performance there.
Okay, great. to
I'm
know.
excited for that one.
I'll
Yeah.
look forward to it.
Yeah, and it's in black and white. Just want to let you know. I don't know, if you're like, oh, it's not in color.
Hey, it's okay when it's supposed to be black and white. If it's from the time of black and white, that's fine. It's when someone says, I made it black and white, and thus it should be number 4 on the list. But I am a little more critical.
Okay, Scorsese, you had color as an option.
Yeah, but he's doing a movie that would have been in the black and white era.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to
Sounds like
convince
any
you.
period
I
piece.
know I'm not going to convince you on this. All right.
I will say, I did appreciate that it was in black and white because the blood could not be in red. And I was very queasy for the whole film.
Okay, but
so
what
that did
about
help.
Psycho?
Oh, here's the thing, Dan. I would previously have mentioned that my type is tall and haunted.
No one taller or more haunted than Norman Bates.
He is the blueprint.
It was actually a difficult episode to record because Liana was so distracted talking about his face.
Wait,
I don't
so
really think
even
it
though
took him
he's
to
a
film.
bad guy, he's still hot.
I'm not saying my type is like good for me, but also technically he's not bad. It's technically his mom.
mother. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
So-
Yeah.
Okay. Like there's depth to your analysis, and there is absolutely no depth to some
right.
of your analysis.
Somebody,
you.
one person on Twitter was like, "Oh, you should check out Tossed Popcorn. They don't take themselves seriously. You will learn absolutely nothing from the podcast." And we were like,
yes, we did.
"Yes, we did it."
Thank you.
But someone else replied and was like, "I've actually learned a lot." So
Yes. Don't forget, Liana does historical context. We do talk about why the movie was made and why we think it was made, why we think it was great at the time.
I try to talk about war almost every episode.
And I try to stop her from talking about it almost every episode.
We
Okay.
have to edit it out so much.
Aside from 1917, what's the best war movie that you've ever
here's-
seen?
Here's something very silly. That is the only war film that I have seen.
What?
Because 1917, you've seen it.
Yes.
So it's
but
not
wait,
very violent.
Saving Private Ryan, Platoon.
Okay, we did have to watch. We had to watch Saving Private Ryan in the 8th grade because our teacher was like, "This is the only way to learn about Normandy." And so our parents had to sign permission slips. We all had to go in, and I was watching it. I was in 8th period history. So the whole day throughout my other middle school classes, I could hear Saving Private Ryan from the history classroom, and it was horrifying. So by the time I got to it, our teacher had said, if you get too upset, you can go sit in my office for the rest of class. And I made it maybe a minute in. No violence had happened yet. They're just on the ships, and you see a soldier like nervously wringing his hands. And I said, I gotta go. I just couldn't handle it.
Okay. So
You know what's crazy too is she's not the only person like that. That's been an interesting thing about doing this podcast as well, is some of it, we went in, we were honored and shocked to win the contest.
We did think it was a prank.
Yes. We worked very hard, obviously, but we didn't know if this was a relatable sort of podcast to do. We didn't force ourselves to win. The people just wanted us to. But hearing people's feedback, since we'll get messages on Instagram and Twitter of people saying, oh my gosh, this is exactly how I feel. Oh, I can't watch things when they're too violent. I don't like things when they're this way or that way. And it's so refreshing to have just a different take on the film critique medium. So anyway, it's been very interesting. I thought it was crazy that Liana hates violence that much, but there are tons of people like that, and we're trying to give a space for them.
Well, congrats, and continue.
Thank you.
Whatever it is, then just continue. Whether it's no
Whatever this
bloodshed, haunted men, cute guys in 1917. I mean, all the deep things that people will come to expect with Tossed Popcorn.
Dan, can we ask you, what's your favorite movie?
I don't have a favorite.
Wow.
I don't. There are certain movies you kind of find them, and then you just keep, no matter where it is in the movie, you just keep watching. Hoosiers is one of those that I just think it's, no matter where it is, you can pick it up and then take it as long as you want. But I don't. I like movies, but I'm not one of those that, here's my top 5. I've just never, I've never done that. But if somebody will bring up, because you could bring up 10, I can say, oh, I got my top 5, and you could bring up 10, and I'd go, yeah, to all of them being in my top 5. So it doesn't make sense. And, if I had to watch one movie, I don't even know if I could come up with one. That's my, and I've been in probably 20 movies with Adam Sandler. So 22 movies with Adam Sandler. That's season 2 of Tossed Popcorn. You watch all of the Sandler movies, and then you get, and there's not much bloodshed in Sandler movies, just to let you know.
This is great, because the AFI list is going to end, and we're going to need other stuff to do.
Yeah, there's only 100 of the top movies in there. But I'm trying to think. I love Rocky.
I'm excited
on the
for
list.
that.
Really? Obviously, no.
I'm excited.
Because, it's Stallone before we knew Stallone. And you find out what he did to get it made, and he wanted to star in it. And Talia Shire is just wonderful. Burgess Meredith, his trainer, it was cast so well. And I thought that Stallone comes off as a true underdog. He played, because in real life he was an underdog. He was nobody. He just had a script. He had an idea, and he sold it. And so he had already won prior to even being in the movie. But I thought Rocky was really, really well done, and it's a love story too.
Yes,
that's what I hear. That's why I'm excited about it. Sounds like a bit of a rom-com.
I feel the same way about the film Iron Man from 2008, starring Robert Downey Jr. Again, an underdog story. Again, a love story in a way. Both him with Gwyneth and him with machinery as well.
I like Tony Stark.
Oh, who doesn't?
And Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. Great actor.
Yeah.
And I loved him in that role.
Yes.
I don't know
that
if
was the first movie I was allowed to watch on a school night.
I wouldn't put it in the Rocky category, but
I don't know.
But it's a nice movie.
Rock, iron.
Ooh.
Materials,
Hard
minerals.
not to. Yeah.
Chemistry class.
I don't know.
This is why it works. It's Tossed Popcorn. I hope it works.
Hard-hitting takes.
Yes,
those.
Exactly.
Just loose guesses about geology.
Yeah, but you guys went to a good college. I didn't, so.
Thank you. Where did you go to school?
Dayton.
Dayton's great. Indy 500. Yeah.
No, that's Indy.
Dayton 500. Dayton 1000.
No, Daytona.
None of that.
Five.
That's right.
Hey,
The Dayton game?
We will edit that part.
you
out.
know
Thank
what?
you.
Yeah, we're going to cut that out. Yeah, we don't want to hurt your credibility.
No, of course.
No.
We are huge in
Yeah.
the NASCAR world.
I don't want to hurt your credibility. I'll let you guys hurt your credibility. I don't
do
want
that
to do it.
ourselves.
Yeah.
No problem.
The Dayton 500. It's a big NASCAR race, known as the Daytona 500.
It could be.
It could
Maybe
be.
we started something here.
I mean, next podcast.
The
Season
Dayton
4 of Toss
500.
Popcorn.
Yeah.
Dayton 500.
Thank you guys, and congratulations and good luck. We're all
Thank you,
counting on
Dan.
you.
Oh, well, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's such an honor to meet you. We're
Yay.
excited to be part of your team.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank
And
you.
congratulations on all of the items in your room.
All my little tchotchkes here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I collect. I'm a hoarder. I was a hoarder before you were called a hoarder. And
Wow.
so I just save everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's nice.
Yes.
We hope to one day have as many things in front of
Well,
us.
look at what you got right now. I mean, you're not really lacking that much.
Did you notice the popcorn? Can they
well,
not see it?
yeah, I
It's
can
very far
barely
away.
see it. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder.
I think that
That's a
would
good
have to
note.
need to be presented a little bit more.
Mhm.
here.
Next time.
Well,
I
this is what we're learning from you already.
Well, I
how
didn't want
kind
to
of build our
pry.
brand.
I didn't want to pry too much in what's behind you because there's a picture. I think.
This is my dog.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Good to introduce Kibo on the
Okay.
on the show.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
a sweet little painting.
All right. Yeah.
The other
so-
thing is a mug of a corgi. So we got a dog.
Yeah,
theme.
that's see. It's gotta be front and center. Like my
Mhm.
my thing's in front here.
Yeah.
Bring them up
This
here.
is-
Right now.
No. But in future, just bring them up in
Okay,
front
yeah.
so then we can, because you want them to see it, not look past you and go, I don't know what that is.
What is that?
What
And then
are
they're
they?
not
Yeah.
listening to you.
Yeah.
See, look at this. We're learning so much already.
Yeah.
Incredible. We feel like two
From-
apprentices.
Yeah,
This is so good.
yeah,
This
This is-
contract
yeah.
is helping us.
After 40 years in the business, this is what I can impart here.
Yeah.
Bring
Dan's
the
big eyes.
tchotchkes front and center.
Tchotchkes in the foreground.
Yes,
All right. I got it,
absolutely,
got
not
it,
the
perfect.
background.
That's the
All
only
right.
note we will take from this. Yeah.
All right, I have to go to work.
Me too.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dan, so
All
much.
right, take care.
Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.